Hey guys, what's up? Foxdrop here with a commentary. This is a subscriber submitted commentary. I haven't done one of these in like months, like honestly way too long. I'm really sorry about that. I've been so busy with other stuff, and also there's just been loads of other issues, like low recorder has just been breaking every patch. The fact that like with season 3, these patches are usually pretty big deals, like a lot of items are being nerfed and all this kind of stuff. People are still getting used to the meta, so if I get an out-of-date replay, then it really is out of date. It's not really worth doing. So there are just so many excuses, and I'm really sorry. But right now, I have a subscribe submit commentary that I'm doing, and we have a Xin jungle, and this is at around. I can't quite remember actually what it was, but everyone in the champ select had like silver borders, so it's around 1200, 1300. It's around that number. I'm sorry if I have got your elo wrong, and we are the only Feanor. Yeah, Xin, I'll just call you Xin this game. So, Xin jungle. Xin is really good. His face, last patch he got nerfed, but I still think he's strong. This is a post-patch replay, so this is after all of his nerfs. And I still think he's really strong. There was a like holy trinity of bruiser junglers, which was Vi, Jarvan, and Xin Zhao, or Xin Zhao, sorry, however I should call him. And he's really good, and he fits the meta really well. And Xin Zhao is he's great. He really is great. So for runes and masteries, I'll do real quick. They'll be in the description as well if you want to check them out. But runes and masteries, I have like a really weird page because I copied Broken Shard's page because he's a pretty good Xin Zhao on my Lolking profile. If you want to look me up, you can probably check out the page. But basically, you could go with something like Armour Reds, move speed Quints, AD Reds, move speed Quints, and then like Armour Yellows, Magic Resist level Blues, something around that. Or you can chuck in a few attack speed runes here or there. You could also get like an extra AD Quints, something along those lines. So you can be fairly flexible with Xin Zhao. And his mastery page is 921, which is pretty standard. There's not really too much to say about that. So right here, to begin the game, Xin Zhao has got his blue leash, got a smiteless, and it looks like he wants to invade, but he's got to be really careful going this way, because if he looks at Akali, she started 4 pot and 4 potions, which means that she would have bought a ward as well. She has a ward and it's being put down, and the way she ran around, the way Xin Zhao ran around means that he ran right past the ward at top. 100% ran right past the ward. And as soon as Akali disappeared, he can tell from her items, he can tell from her behaviour that they know he was invading. So if he wanted to invade for that red buff, he should have gone this way around. He should have ran around here. He should have gone this way because it's much less likely to be warded. And personally, I wouldn't have even recommended to do that, just because I would have gone for my own red buff if I was playing Xin. There isn't really any needs to try and invade, but it was a nice idea, but it was poorly executed because he should have known that it would be warded, because it's he should have known Akali would have had a ward, and he ran the wrong way. So this is already, for a starting, it's not looking very good for Xin, because he's lost his red, his bottom's got first blooded, he's wasted time. It's just a really bad start. I mean, we're 3 minutes 48, 3:49, and 3:50, and Xin Zhao is an even level 3. And usually when you're playing Xin, you want to get a level 3 double buff at around 3 minutes. And right here as well, he's doing his race when really he should be expecting that Hecarim is going to be ganking mid. Like, Hecarim just ganked mid, and Heca has just got really strong ganks, and Ryze doesn't really have anything to answer Hecarim apart from a root, like his snare, his W. But Hecarim can just kind of bully around this Ryze, and Xin probably maybe could have recognized this and like counter ganked mid, and that would have been a lot more favorable, because Nidalee early is not good. Like, pretty much just like that. She's just not good. Like, she doesn't have anything. She can't really offer much to duels, to skirmishes. This is very risky because Hecarim, 100% Hecarim would be here, because that Akali was baiting really hard. If Hecarim wasn't there, Akali would have just ran away. And because she stayed, it was very obvious that Akali was coming. But we do actually have a TP coming in here, so Ryze is going to come in and the flash wither from Nasus, and this should be a dead Hecarim, but maybe not, because Ryze doesn't have his flash, because he had to use it from a gank, so they're not going to kill Hecarim, which is a shame, a waste of Nasus's flash, a waste of Ryze's TP. So this is, as far as this game has begun, it's not been very well for Xin. Xin is actually really good early. His dueling power is very strong. If he were just to 1v1 this Hecarim, he'd beat the crap out of him, because Hecarim is not strong early. Hecarim is a carry when he gets fed, and when he gets to late game, he carries, but he does not have that pressure, that power early game, which is right now. So, and Xin Zhao does have that. He's got a lot of damage. He's got an auto attack reset on his Q. He's got a gap closer. He's got a steroid, attached to steroid with his W, and a knock up for, you know, alongside his slow for decent CC. So he has everything. He really does have everything. And it's really surprising here actually that his Hecarim's red buff is still up. But then I guess Hecarim didn't need to take it because he took Xin's and he wasn't running out. But yeah, I was gonna say, like, if Xin wanted to take this red buff, he should have started it before. Like, he shouldn't have waited around. But he got the smite still off, and I don't think I think he's gonna die here though. This Ryze doesn't want to help him either. I don't know why he's just trolling him. Is he DC'd or? Yeah, okay. That was just, you can't. That was obviously right. Like, if you were playing Ryze, if I were doing like the replay from Ryze's point of view, I'd be like, Ryze, what the hell are you doing? Like, go and help Xin Zhao. But at the end of the day, like, this guy just wasn't paying attention, and that happens all the time in solo queue. Like, if you can imagine, I wasn't like up in arms, I wasn't screaming at the mic like, Ryze, what are you doing? Ryze, pay attention, because in all honesty, I wasn't even that surprised. Like, this happens. When you guys send me emails like, how do I get out of bronze elo? How do I get out of silver elo? I can't climb in elos because my teammates just troll me. They you know, don't help me. They don't pay attention. They feed. They AFK. They troll pick. They whatever. All these excuses. It's because of things like that. Things that just happened right here with Ryze and Xin Zhao. They're the things which you remember all the time. So when you guys get angry, it's because something like that has just happened, and that will be fresh in your memory. That's all you'll remember. You'll come and you'll get really angry and really frustrated, and you'll be like, solo queue sucks. I hate it. And it's really just because of this like sin that Ryze just committed. And really, like, you guys message me as if, you know, how do I stop this from happening? Like, because you're like venting your frustrations, and really you can't stop it from happening. It happens all the time. It happens. You know, he wasn't paying attention. Okay, it happens. Like, I can't say it more often. It happens. Like, people do not pay attention in solo queue. It was a really risky invade for him to go for that red buff. Like, very, very risky invade. And he went for it, and he paid the price. I mean, it was like Ryze went full retard, not helping him, but at the same time, like, Xin is at fault for trying to do it, and this isn't helping him either. Like, he made a good decision by trying to counter gank bot because they were getting dove by Hecarim, but that was a bad decision to run in because he's only level 4. He doesn't have red buff, so it's not like he's going to slow anything down, and he's very, very squishy. So like, he's just making some poor decisions as to when to go in. He's like, if he'd have just showed his face and then like he could have defended the tower, he could have soaked up some of that XP, which would have really put him back in the game, because he's lost so much early. He's wasted a lot of time. Like, he's got 19 CS and he's got like he got blue buff, like, you know, to begin the game, and he took another blue buff, which he just like fed to the enemy team as well. So that's what you've got to be careful when you've got buffs. You feed them to the enemy team, because that's gonna, who actually got the kills? It like, okay, so Hecarim got the kill, which means he's got blue buff again, and you know, this Hecarim, he's 5-0-1. He's gonna carry the game like flat out pretty much. He's just, I mean, I can see Hecarim's build, and he's got a Giant's Belt, Spirit Stone, and a Merc Treads, and he's obviously he's 5-0-1. He's Hecarim. He can carry, but that build doesn't set him up to carry as hard as he could do if he'd built a lot of damage. Because if he had damage at this stage in the game, people don't have the damage themselves to take him out. So if he built damage, he would have just like steamrolled everyone. He would have ran lane to lane and just destroyed them, and have so much, you know, presence with that extra damage. but he's decided to go tanky instead, which is kind of fortunate, I think, for his team. I don't think this is the right route to go as far as item build goes for Hecarim at this stage in the game. But if we look around as well, like his level, like Azin is level 5, 11 minutes in, and he's doing a fairly good job of like counter ganking. Like right here, this is another good example, and I think he should be able to pick up this Hecarim, although maybe not because he's just buggered off just like that. Like he just instantly ran away, which is like did he either pop his ghost or his E? But either way, I wouldn't have expected that to be. I thought he would have used everything when they just killed Nasus, but apparently not. So that was kind of unlucky. But I mean, on one side of the coin, it's actually not that. He needs to be very careful, by the way. Like, just because this Akali's on like 40% health doesn't mean that she won't one-shot him. He will die instantly if this Akali goes for him. But it's kind of like a good thing for his lane mates to be feeding so hard, because it means that he can soak up all this gold, all this XP. Like, I know, you know, he's down, like, he's really far behind as far as his levels go, as far as his team goes. He's really far behind. He doesn't really have any pressure. And obviously that's a bad thing, but if you're thinking, like, in my personal experience, people will say things like, how do I carry when everyone's feeding? It's like, well, if everyone's feeding, then there are always opportunities for you to carry, like, and right here, these opportunities are specifically that his lanes are dying, and so he can soak up all the XP. But he's not doing that because, like, for example, he could have done that bot, and instead he decided to go in, and he just died. One thing I will say as well, by the way, I know we're like 10 minutes into this replay, but I do have a new mic, so that may sound kind of weird. I'm just testing this out as well. I'm trying it out. If it's not very good, then whatever, I'll know that for the future. Anyway, back to business. This is a really bad situation because with a Nidalee on the enemy team, they're going to poke the crap out of them. And they just saw an award right here. They saw Hecarim's coming too. So this is a dive. This is just a free dive right here. They don't have Lulu ult. Without Lulu ult, well, if Lulu has her ult, she's really good against dives because she has shields, she has CC, and then she'll pop her ulti. It's really hard to dive people that have those kind of things. When you're diving, you just want to kill them as, like, bam. You want to jump in and you want to kill them and jump out again. When you have things which will delay that, like CC or like shields or, you know, Lulu's little health boost with her ulti, that's what makes dives very, very dangerous. And Xin has his ult as well, so if someone dives in and they all just bundle in for a dive, Xin will ulti and he'll split them, and then they'll be able to focus someone down in the tower, and that will screw that person over, and most likely that'll be Hecarim who they'll screw over. But we are like 12 minutes in, and they're being pushed up to their inhib tower, and like everyone's just getting dominated. But as in, if you notice this game, like he's just playing, he's honestly, like in all honesty, he's doing what he can, basically. I mean, I know he could be playing a lot better. Of course he could be, but at the same time, he's chasing people down. He's he's aware that what the enemy is doing. He knows what the enemy is trying to do, and he's trying to like counter it. He's trying to stop it from happening, which is really good. Like, he's not just given up and like resigned to farming. He's following these guys around, because if he wasn't following, then instances like what is happening now wouldn't be happening. And they got 2 kills out of this. They lost 1, but they did get 2. And when you're behind like that, those kind of trades, holy shit, Nidalee just absolutely decked that vein. Wow. You need to, yeah, okay, bloody hell. Goes without saying, dodge, Nidalee spit. Okay, he just, wow. This isn't good, okay. So these guys would have had a nice push onto mid lane, but they just chunked. They just took so much damage from Nidalee. Like, she just speared these guys and just destroyed them. She killed Vayne and very, very nearly killed Xin. And if he doesn't kill this wolf quickly, okay, good, then he would have died as well there. But now Akali's coming down, and they're going to get at least 1 tower. I would not be surprised if they took 2 towers here, because, I mean, they've got a minion wave, and they're all in position. There's 3 of them there. This tower's going to go instantly. No one's in position to defend it, so they could get 2, but they're probably just going to go for Dragon instead. This is a mistake. People overrate Dragon slightly. People are always overrating Dragon. They're like, oh, free Dragon, GG, all this kind of stuff. It's like, well, it's Dragon. It's like 1,000 gold difference for your team. And it's, you know, when you could be getting a tower, which just gives you so many more benefits, you get more gold from Dragon, but when you get a tower, you get so much like presence. And this enemy team right now are so in the driver's seat that they want to close this game out. And a great way to do that is to be pushing down towers. They've got a lot of towers, so they are doing well, but they could have just got another tower, which would have been really good, especially considering it's the mid tower, which means that they could just shove a lane. And when they shove a lane, if there are no towers, then there's obviously nothing to stop the lane from pushing really hard. So if MF shoves this bot lane really hard, then the wave will go all the way. Like, it's not going to be stopped by any towers, and it's going to go further. With the same amount of effort, you get more out of it if there are less towers, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. But basically shoving lanes becomes more effective when there are less towers on the map, because there are no towers to stop the minion waves from pushing. So, and when you can shove the lanes, you can like go and take Baron. And these guys really need to be careful of things like Baron like right now. And they have no wards. They literally have no wards on the map. Part of that is Lulu's fault. Part of that is everyone else's fault. So I know it's the support. The support isn't the only one who should be warding. It's primarily the person who should be buying wards, but it's definitely not the only person who should be buying wards. And Hecarim just died, like, facing the tower or something. I don't know what he just did. I wasn't watching because I didn't think anything would happen, but apparently he died, so cool. But yeah, when they have these towers down, this Baron is a big deal. Like, they need to be warding Baron, because this team could just take it so easily. MF with Blade of the Ruined King. Blade of the Ruined King does so much damage to Baron because it does percentage health damage. Hecarim does a lot of damage to Baron as well because he can spam his Q. Hecarim just does loads of damage anyway. Especially with that, you know, this Lizard Elder item with true damage onto Baron. See, this was a nice engage, but they need to be careful. He flash ultied onto Akali, which I personally think was a mistake. I think he should have just like E'd onto her and just like started fighting her. I don't think it's not like your Lee Sin where you kick them back into your, like you flash kick them back into your team. You just fight them. Like he should have just jumped on her and fought her. Because first, you know, wasting your flash like that is just bad. And I don't even think Nasus is going to pick up this kill. It depends how many stacks this Akali's got. She's got way too many stacks. So this Nasus just died, and they lost mid tower because of this as well. So they didn't have any wards. Whenever you flash engage, if you don't have wards, that's usually a bad idea because it means you don't know where they are. And if someone could come around the corner while you flash, then you're screwed. Like you've used your flash aggressively, and suddenly you're in a bad situation which you need to run away from. And without that flash, you know, I don't need to explain to you guys, you're in a bad spot. And that's exactly what happened when Nidalee showed up. Not to mention, I don't even think the flash engage was the right idea personally. But like, this game really looks out of control right now. But there are a few elements which are like augmenting how far this looks out of control. Like they're exaggerating how bad this game looks. And the two biggest things, in my opinion, like right now at this stage in the game, the two biggest things are vision. So the enemy team is being allowed to do whatever they want because this team does not have vision. If you're behind and you need to, like, you know, stop dying and like stop falling behind even further, you need vision. You need to see where the enemies are. And these fights are not helping because they're not going to do it. They're not going to get anything out of these fights. They need to be turtling. They don't want to be fighting at all. They want to be like stopping these fights. I mean, the one good thing about losing all your towers is that it's easy to turtle, and that's why when your inhibs go down, it's easy to turtle as well. It's the same thing because your lanes are pushing, and so you can farm up safer because you're closer to your base. But the only downside to that, again, is that if you're pushed into your base, objectives are free for the enemy team. So things like this Baron, they can't challenge this Baron regardless. Like, it doesn't matter. They're not going to get this Baron. So they just want to farm up. They're going to try and stop them, but it's going to be way too late and they're all just going to die. They did stop Baron, to be fair. They've stopped the Baron, but they needed to run away, and instead it's not worth it. Like, you stop Baron, but 4 of you die. So the best case scenario here is that, you know, by trying to stop Baron, 4 of your guys die and they take Baron anyway. And that is the best case scenario, because the worst case scenario is that 4 of you die and then they take an inhib or something. And it's just like, if you can't stop it, don't try and stop it, because you can't stop it. You just can't. There's nothing wrong with being unable to stop certain objectives. It happens, you know. You can't stop every dragon. You can't stop every Baron. Whether you're out of position or you're just not in the situation because you're not strong enough. If you try and stop things, if you try and forcibly stop objectives, which you can't, you'll just put yourself further behind. And so you may as well have not stopped it in the first place, which is the right decision to do on a lot of occasions. And now this Rise is he's trying to get some kills, and to be fair to him, he's pulling out some good like awareness. Like these are pretty good engages by Rise. The only downside to them is that he's on his own, and so he's he's dying. But if his team was more coordinated with Rise, then they would be getting a lot of kills here. But I mean, again, this is bad by Rise. But at the same time, if you know your teammates are playing like this, then just follow them around a little bit, because even if Xin had been there the whole time, like Rise, it's not like he just ran into them and just blew up or anything. He was kind of just playing with them a little bit because he was in a good situation. So if someone else was with him, then they would have helped him out. They would have maybe been able to get that. And you need to take risks, and it's things like that. When you're behind, you've got to take risks to try and get yourself back into the game. If you just play safe when you're already behind, you're not going to get anything out of it, because what's going to happen is you'll play safe. This Vayne has a marvelous build, by the way. You'll play safe, and then nothing will change. If you're getting steamrolled and you play safe, then you're not going to stop getting steamrolled. That it's just not going to happen. You need to take risks to try and get yourself back into the game. And if you're ahead, you don't need to take risks. And that's how you can throw games, by taking unnecessary risks. Because if you just play safe when you're ahead, there's nothing stopping you from losing the game. It's only when you start making mistakes that's when you will lose the game, when you are ahead. And this is just a really bad situation for the blue team right here. And you guys may be saying things like, Foxdrop, we haven't really focused a lot on this Xin Zhao's play, and that's because, in my opinion, this Xin Zhao's play was over like 15 minutes into the game, like 10 minutes into the game, because he had like before this game went out of control. There's nothing this guy can do now. Like, he's not tanky, and their team is just way too fed. Like, if this guy was tanky, he might be able to do something. Like, his only hope is to get tanky and hope that he can just soak up as much as he can so that his carries can try and carry. And this is maybe a good fight. Vayne isn't really here, but they need to chase this down. I mean, if they all get poked down by Nidalee, it's bad, and if they all get mopped up by Akali, it's bad. And now MF's here, it's risky, but they need to try and do something. And like, this is what I mean. Like, he just dies instantly. This Xin just dies instantly, and he needs, like, if he could soak some of that up, he'd be a lot better off, and his team would be a lot better off. Because at low reload, people can't focus. In solo queue, people can't focus. No one focuses. They just kill who's ever on the lowest health. It's really bad, but it happens. And so yeah, it would have been a lot better for his team. But he just dies. This is what I mean. Like, he just can't do anything. And as I was saying before about his play, how his play was over like 10 minutes in, he made a few like critical mistakes really, and the game kind of just snowballed. Like, I can understand, like, this is the kind of game when you guys send messages into me and say, how do I carry this? Because my team, all my lanes lost, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, forget about your lanes. Like, even if Xin Zhao played, like, impeccably this game, Jesus Christ, Vayne. Even if he'd played even if he'd played really well, he may not have won the game. And, it's just, you don't win every game. Like, you don't. Like, no one has 100% win ratios. You don't have 100% win ratios. You just don't. No one does. If you have a 60% win ratio and you play enough games, then you're going to climb Elo like really, really effectively. Like, 60% is really good, but that's only winning, 6 out of 10 games, which is barely. That's one game above going even, if you're thinking about it from that point of view. And so you lose. If you play 10 games, you'd be losing 40% of those games, which is a lot. Like, that is a lot of games to lose, and this is just one of those games. You don't win every game, so forget about winning the game. Just think of, like, if this Xin just at the end of this game, he shouldn't be like, well, my team's so, like, forget about it. Get that out of your head. That doesn't matter. That is completely unimportant as far as it goes for Xin Zhao. What Xin needs to focus on, if I was in, I would be opening up my LoL recorder, being like, well, I sucked dick this game. This wasn't a great game for me. And I'm not just picking on you, Xin. Like, I'm sorry if you think this is harsh or anything like that. I'm not picking on you. You know, I do this myself. You know, I play games where I just suck dick, and I'm like, well, I did awful, so I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna watch my replay. I'm gonna see where I went wrong, and then I'm gonna realize, you know, every time I died, every time something went poorly, what can I realize? Like right at the beginning, he made the mistake of he ran the wrong way to try and take away the red buff, and that, you know, wasted his time, blew his flash. You know, that was just a really bad decision, and then he died when he had opportunities to get back into the game by holding lanes and soaking up the XP from lanes when his lanes were dead. He didn't take advantage of that because he died. He just died instead. So there are lots of different opportunities where this guy could have got back in the game, and that's what he really needs to be thinking. Like, how could I at least have been useful? You don't need to think about how could I have won the game. How could I have been good enough for my team? How could I have been in the situation to give my team the best opportunity possible to win this game? Like, if Xin was strong in, like, just be worried about being strong yourself. Don't worry about your team. It's not a great way to think about it because it's a team game, but at the same time it's solo queue and it's called solo for a reason. Like, it's not the best way of measuring your skill because there are 4 other people who can lose you the game, but at the same time there are 5 people in the enemy team who can win you the game. And that's really what you got to think about. The odds are in your favour to win every single game. They really are. Now, I just said you're not going to win every game, and that's true. You're not going to win every game, but it's a good mentality to think of. The odds are in your favour to win, so don't get too down when you lose. And if you do lose consistently, then no offence, but it's probably you. Like, you're probably the reason you're losing a game, which isn't even, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Just recognise it so you can improve. Like, you will improve. I mean, as soon as you recognise that you're the reason for your mistakes, that is when you're going to start improving and you're going to stop losing. And you're going to realise, yeah, this is my fault. And then when you cut out your mistakes, you'll win games. It's simple as that. It's truly as simple as that. And that's the end of the game. Like, that is all. That's all there is. And where's Nastus? Okay, there he is. So yeah, this I mean, he made some, like, in summary, like, this Xin Zhao made a few too many mistakes early, and that's why he was pretty much useless as the game went on. I mean, there are lots of opportunities for him to get back into this game, for him to have impacts, and he was almost there with his counter ganking. Like, that was a pretty good, like, he had good awareness and stuff, and he was almost there, but it was a bit too far, you know, a bit too far of reach by that point. But yeah, so this was my first subscribe submit commentary in a long time. Let me know what you think about it. I'm aware that I didn't really analyze much of, like, Xin Zhao this game, but I still think you should hopefully find this useful, hopefully, maybe. And I'll be looking to do more commentaries and stuff in the future. I've just been really busy, so I'm sorry about that. And I hope the mic is okay as well. Like I say, new mic, all that kind of business. But thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you thought in the comments, what you want to see. Give it a thumbs up, all that business. Come like me on Facebook. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video.